So the exponential base function e which is y is equal to e to the x, has a unique property in that y prime of x is equal to e to the x. The derivative is equal to the y value of the function for each value of x, such that x is an element of all real numbers. The slope of the tangent at each point on the curve is equal to the value of the function at that point. So if we have f of x is equal to e to the x, then the derivative is e to the x times 1. Okay? All we're literally doing is taking e to the x and then taking the derivative of my exponent, which is just 1. What rule of derivatives does this look like? Power of a what? What derivative rule does this look like? I know you guys haven't forgot about derivative rules yet. It's the power of a function rule for derivatives. Thank you, Priyanshi. This is power of function. And then if f of x is equal to e to the power of g to the x, then we also do the power of a function. So we get f prime of x is equal to e times g to the x times the derivative of my exponent. Okay? And this is and then times the ln of e, which is equal to e times g to the x, or ln of e is equal to e to the power of g to the x times g prime of x. So, sorry, I thought this was multiplication. This should be a comma. Whoops. So now, let's differentiate the following. So let's see if you guys can do the first one together. So we have y is equal to e to the power of 7x. What would my derivative be? No, there's no log e, Muhammad. Sorry, this was a comma. So it's just leave it as e to the power of g to the x times the derivative of g to the x. So that was my apology. That I thought that looked like a multiplication dot, but it should have been a comma. So I take e to the 7x times my derivative of my exponent, which is 7, which means that my derivative is 7 times e to the 7x. So this is my derivative. Okay, so now with that same rule, what is my derivative for e to the power of x squared? E to the x squared, Muhammad. It's not going to give me 14. So again, I'm going to take my original function, which is just e to the x squared, times the derivative of my exponent, which is x squared, which is just 2x, which means my derivative, thank you, Priyanshu, is 2x times e to the power of x squared. And then my next one is y is equal to e to the x minus x to the e. So my derivative is going to be y prime is equal to e to the x, because the derivative of e to the x is just itself, because the derivative of x is just 1, minus, bring my exponents, this is product rule, times e to the x to the power of e minus 1. That would be my derivative for that one. And then the last one you have y is equal to x squared times e to the negative x. So because we have two functions, we need to use p prime of q plus q prime times p. So my derivative becomes y prime is equal to 2x times e to the negative x plus e to the negative x times my derivative of negative x, which is negative 1, times x squared. That gives me 2x times e to the negative x minus e to the negative x times x squared. So now I can factor ax times e to the negative x, and I'm left with 2 minus x, which gives me x times 2 minus x over e to the x. So that would be my derivative. All right. And now for number 2, we want to determine the equation of a tangent line to y is equal to x minus e to the negative x at the point where x is equal to 0. So I need to find my derivative, okay? So y prime is equal to 1 minus negative e to the negative x, which is equal to 1 plus e to the negative x. The reason it's like this is because the derivative of e to the negative x is equal to e to the negative x times negative 1, which gives me negative e to the negative x. And because we have the subtraction on the outside, and negative times a negative gives me a positive. So what I need to do is figure out my slope of the tangent at the point x is equal to 0. So I'm going to sub in 0 for x. So this is going to be 1 plus e to the 0. And we know that anything to the power of 0 is going to give me 1. So I get 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. So this is the slope of my tangent. And now to figure out at what point it is, I need to sub in or figure out my y when x is equal to 0 for my original function, which is x minus e to the negative x, which means I'm going to sub in 0 for x. So I get 0 minus e to the 0, which gives me 0 minus 1, which gives me negative 1, which means my points I'm going to use is 0 and negative 1. So now I can find my equation. So remember, it's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So I get my y value of -1. So y minus -1, which is just y plus 2, is equal to 2 times x minus 0. So I get y plus 2 is equal to 2x. And if I write it in standard form, I get 2x minus y minus 2 is equal to 0. Oh, so remember our y minus y1, it means the points that we found when subbing in x is equal to 0 for my function. So remember, if I plug in x is equal to 0 for my function of y is equal to x minus e to the negative x, I get a y value of -1, which means the point that I'm using for my tangent line equation is 0 and -1. So remember, I'm just going to sub in -1 for y1 and 0 for x1. And then I simplify and I get x plus y plus 2 is equal to 2x. So this is stuff from unit 1. So remember, whenever I'm finding the slope of my tangent or the equation of the tangent line, I need to evaluate my tangent slope at that point that we're given, but I also have to figure out what my y-coordinate is at the point where my tangent is going to pass so I can make an equation for that tangent line. So now we want to find the equation of the tangent line to the function y is equal to x cubed times e to the x squared. So again, we're going to have to use product rule. So it's p prime of x times q of x plus q prime of x times p of x. So now let's figure this out. So the derivative of p prime of x, we know that that's x cubed, and if you find the derivative of that, that gives me 3x squared. Which means the derivative of p prime of x, of p of x, is 3x squared, sorry. Now what is my q of x? I know my q of x is e to the x squared. Can someone tell me the derivative of e to the x squared? What is my derivative of e to the power of x squared? Yep. So it would be 2x ex squared. Now we can use this information to make my life, or our lives, easier when it comes to this. So I get y prime is equal to the derivative of p of x, which is 3x squared, times e to the x squared, plus the derivative of q of x, which is 2x times e to the x squared times x cubed. Now before I can move over, I can multiply my 2x and my x cubed. So I get 3x squared times e to the x squared plus 2x to the 4 times e to the power of x squared. So now what I can do, I don't really have to simplify anymore. Let's find the slope of my tangent at the point x is equal to 1. So I need to sub in 1 for x. So I get 3 times 1 to the power of 2 times e times 1 to the power of 2 plus 2 times 1 to the power of 4 times e to the power of 1 squared. So who can tell me what that simplifies into when I sub in 1 for x? Thank you, Priyanshu. It is going to be 5e. I'm going to get 3e plus 2e, which gives me 5e, which means the slope of my tangent at x is equal to 1 is 5e. I know it's weird, it's not a number, but sometimes it's not going to give me an integer. So now, in order to figure out what point I'm going to be using to figure out the slope of my tangent line, to the equation of the slope of my tangent line, I need to sub in y, where x is equal to 1 for my original function. So I get 1 to the power of 3 times e to the power of 1 squared. So that gives me 1 times e, which just gives me e. So my point I will be using to figure out the equation of my tangent line is when x is equal to 1 and y is equal to e. So this is my point. So now I'm going to figure out my equation. So I get y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So I get y minus e is equal to my slope, which is 5e, times x minus 1. So I get y minus e is equal to 5ex minus 5e. I'll move stuff over, which means I get 5 times e times x minus y minus 4e is equal to 0. So that would be my equation of my tangent line in standard form. Yes, Priyanshu?
Can you scroll back to the second question? Because I'm getting a different answer, and I want to know why.
For which one?
Determine the equation at x equals 0. My final answer is 2x minus y minus 1.
Minus 1?
Yeah, because when I input -1 into
Oh, right.
y1.
That was my bad. That was my mistake.
Oh, okay. I thought I was missing something.
No, you're fine. You are fine. That was my mistake. So fix this one. Because I got used to seeing the 2 from the slope. So it's y plus 1 is equal to 2 times x minus 0. I get y plus 1 is equal to 2x. I get 2x minus y minus 1 is equal to 0. Yeah, that was my mistake. So hopefully that clears everything out. Guys, don't just believe me, okay? Just be like Priyanshu, call me out. It's fine. I take no offense to it. Did anyone else have that same question? Or you guys just gonna accept what I said? And just be honest. I'm not gonna be hurt. It's fine. Did anyone else notice that mistake? Oh, wow. You guys just believe me, eh? I can literally say the answer is 4,000, and I just need to sound believable, and you guys will write it down. All right. And then the last example of this lesson is given g of x is equal to 4 times e to the power of x cubed plus 2. I want to determine g prime at 1. So this is no power to a power. Okay. What is my derivative of this function? So remember, I start off with my 4e times x cubed plus 2. And then remember, all I have to do is take my derivative of x cubed plus 2. So what is the derivative of x cubed plus 2? (3x squared). Thank you. Let me just check your answer. Whoever that was Priyanshu. So the answer is 12x squared times e to the x3 plus 2. Yep, you're fine, Priyanshu. So all I'm going to do is multiply my 4 and my derivative, and I get 12x squared times e to the x cubed plus 2. Now, I need to determine g prime at 1. So all I'm going to do is sub in 1 for x in my derivative. So I get 12 times 1 squared times e to the power of 1 cubed plus 2. So I get 12 times e to the power of 1 plus 2, which gives me 12 times e to the 3. So my derivative evaluated at 1 is going to be 12e cubed. So again, your test or assignment for this will be